everybody. This is Redemption City Stories. I'm Matt and my awesome co-host, Courtney Fox.
Hello,
today.
everybody.
You sound great. She's happy. We just finished Sunday services, and now we're here to interview and talk to Matt and Jennifer May. The idea for this podcast originally was I get to have like coffee with people in our church, and they'll like tell me about their lives, and I'm always like, man, I wish everybody in our church could know you like I do now. And so that's really the idea. So just they have Whataburger, not coffee, Cokes or whatever it is, Dr. Peppers.
Yes.
Okay, good.
How dare you assume I drink Coke?
My bad. He's a real Texan. So that's what I want to know. So Jennifer, we'll go to you first.
Okay.
So where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I am native Texan, born outside of Houston, but lived in several different places, including Georgia, Colorado, and spent the most of my formative years in Middle Tennessee, so just outside Nashville. So then moved back to Texas after I graduated from PA school, and here we are. So yeah, been all over the place.
PA school is not public announcer school.
It is
I'm
correct.
assuming.
Yeah, no, thank you. Physician assistant school.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Where now you teach others to be.
Now I do. Yeah. So I was in clinical practice for almost 7 years, and then I've been in education for almost 5 years.
Nice.
So I profess to the next generation of PAs.
And when did you come to faith?
I grew up in your typical suburban middle-class Christian family, church on Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, Wednesdays, and did all of the steps that you were supposed to get to that point. But I think my biggest coming to faith moment was actually after I had thyroid cancer. I was I was in service with my parents probably like a month or so after, and one of the biggest things. One of the challenges that can happen after you've had your thyroid removed is it can ruin your vocal cords. And I don't know if you know this, but I am actually a classically trained singer.
No way.
High school and college.
Telling Pastor Jeffrey.
And but I was singing one of my favorite hymns, and I could actually sing. And it was in that moment where I was like, God is so good. And it was like just this
Yeah.
the world changed from that moment. And I remember both my parents were crying, and my dad doesn't really cry, and so it's like the three of us just bawling in service for no reason. We're singing How Great Thou
For God's
Art.
goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. For just we're singing How Great Thou Art, and I'm just bawling, and that is probably my story. That's from that point to this point. That was what instigated kind of my faith journey, from there to where we are now. Yeah.
Matthew, what about you? Where'd you grow up?
Grandview. So raised in Arlington for about 7 years. My parents didn't think Arlington was the best place to raise a kid, so they brought me out to the sticks.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, it was great. Who doesn't want to put you miles from other houses with a rambunctious 8-year-old? So grew up farming, anything country related. Drove tractors from the second I was able to get on one. They were just drive a tractor. Learned to drive heavy equipment, and then 18, I decided to get out of there. Moved to Fort Worth. Been here ever since.
Hence the huge trucks you always drive.
Exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It was so how people back in the 80s and 90s, they were the bigger the hair, the closer to Jesus. I think the bigger the truck.
Yeah.
I love that.
Somewhere, I'm sure.
That's great. It's there somewhere. It's there somewhere.
That's a T-shirt waiting to be made.
You honestly-
T-shirt idea. Like Michael Scott with his T-shirt idea. So when did you come to faith? How'd that look? What did it look like?
So that's kind of a tumultuous story. So
We got time.
Yeah. I grew up in a typical Southern Baptist fire and brimstone.
I'm so sorry.
I got saved when I think I was probably 7 or 8. And then I took a big step away, mainly because it was a popularity contest, and my mother just ran it down my throat. There was no missing. There was no anything. Stepped away for probably about 15 plus years. Met Jennifer, and now we're here.
Wow. You believed in Jesus before y'all got together.
Mm-hmm.
You thought, didn't have a great experience with the church, but you thought Jesus was real, Son of God kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking to Matt here. And then, sorry, I need to get closer. Sorry.
Glad you clarified that.
So, and then, so you basically said whenever y'all got together, you're like, that's when I came back to faith. So was it because she's a Christian now? What was that?
She is definitely the spiritual leader.
Yeah.
I am more of the physical leader.
Provider.
Yeah.
Get the
I will get
spiders.
it done. I will get everything around the house
Get the
done. I can
spiders.
build the house. But just spiritually and emotionally, that's her strength.
Tell me more about that. Especially you first getting together, like were you like, hey, so
This is so cliched. It's like we had our first date and I knew he wasn't going anywhere, and I think he knew I wasn't going anywhere. And so after our second date, the next weekend we were hanging out, and I was like, well, I'm going to church tomorrow, so what time are you picking me up? And he was like, yeah, what time does it start? And I was like, 9. He was like, I'll get you at 8:45. I was like, great. And so so then we just it was a regular thing. We went to the same church up until we got married, and then we kind of church hopped around because we were looking for a church that was specifically had a good ministry towards the about to be married or newly married. And there aren't a lot of those out there. It was like, you're getting ready to be married or you're a single adult, fantastic, we've got you. But there wasn't anything for the newly married. If you had kids, if you didn't have kids, but those that were just, there wasn't anything. So we did a lot of church hopping.
And she knows how picky I am.
Yeah.
So I am.
picky and a big hugger.
Yeah. All
So-
about
Give
that.
them hugs.
How long have
guys.
y'all been together now?
7 years. Married 5.
And then tell us about. So there's more to your family.
Yes. Our little nuggets.
Yeah. Tell us
Yeah.
about them.
So we have our almost 4-year-old Eli, and then our almost 2-year-old Barrett. I know.
Chunks, man. Awesome kids.
Eli's not a chunk. Eli's a tank.
They
Eli-
love
Yeah,
church.
he is.
They
They
love
do.
church.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He asks every
Every-
Saturday, "Do I have school today? No, you have church tomorrow. No church today. No, you have church tomorrow. Okay. Sunday morning. I have church today. Yes, you have church tomorrow."
when we were at the Y, every time we would drive by the Y, he'd be like, "Home, home."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so
when
sweet.
we were at the Y, he'd be
And
like,
you had so
"Home."
much trouble with him at the first.
I did.
Well, he
See, I don't even
He didn't
remember.
wanna-
He didn't want to go to the.
Oh, they never do. It's okay. We always
and
get
now,
there.
now look at him. Now
We
you
get
can't, now you can't drag him out of there.
Yeah. Now,
One of my favorite things that's ever happened in our church is the moment when Miss Julie kind of stepped. Is she still keeping
Oh.
them son?
No, not so much. Just because they are,
Older.
yeah, they're both in daycare and preschool. But Miss Julie is she's our family.
She is Grammy.
Yeah, she's Grammy to our boys.
And
So they call her. Okay, so
they call her
let me tell
Grammy.
the audience a little bit about. So basically, Miss Julie and Miss Julie Rice, the heartbeat of Redemption City. She's awesome. So was it in small group? Or
It was women's Bible
was a
study.
women-
women's Bible study. Jennifer. So they're doing prayer requests, and Jennifer just is describing her life and goes, "Yeah, it's really difficult to find, the right kind of schedule, and they're like it's Monday through Friday. I work and trying to find someone to take care of my little guy." And Julie goes, "I'll do it." And Jennifer's like, "No. I'm just. It's a prayer request. I'm not." And Julie goes, "No, tell me when." And took care of him
Couple days a week.
Yeah.
Yep.
for months and months.
Yeah, for 3-4 months.
Yeah.
2 days a week, 2 mornings a week while I was in lecture.
Which is that's exactly the kind of church we aspire to be. Is we meet each other's needs, and she's just the most loving. So anyway, I love that part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that, and she calls our boys her boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
I gotta go see my boys. So
Well, I see her light up when she sees them on Sundays.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
yeah, she's such a special lady. We love her so much.
Eli will run across the parking lot
Yeah,
to see her.
to see her. Yeah.
As you're describing kind of your family of origin and how you came to faith, for you, Jennifer, it was kind of it was like this
Yeah.
free kind of
Yeah.
support. And me and my parents were crying together.
Yeah.
And you said something, Matt, something more like I got out of there, and so now you two are now you have a family, and so how's that? Like building a family. You are a leader, both of you, leading a family of faith. Like your boys are in church every week. They are memorizing Bible verses, these whole things. So what's that? I'll go to you first. Like, what's that like now, being kind of the first link in a chain here of leading your boys, to church?
I will say this. There's still a lot of resentment in me. And my dad, and I'll tell you this, I haven't spoken to my dad in well over 15 years. He would just stand there, hands in pockets, and we would play tic-tac-toe because he didn't care about the message. There's still a lot of that in me because I saw that and I mimic it. But at the same time, like, I can't actually feel myself opening up. So, no, I don't want my boys to grow up this way.
Yeah.
So.
And they're not.
No. I won't let it.
Yeah.
No, it's I'm not there yet, but
I think you're closer than you're giving yourself credit for. For those of you who don't know mine and Matt's relationship, was it his first time and I foisted the hug onto him?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
At the Y, not knowing that he.
No idea.
I think that Jennifer, are you the only person he kind of regularly hugs? And the boys, obviously.
And Grammy at this point, and Grammy. Yeah.
Okay, but at that point,
at
it was
that point,
just
no.
his wife and kid. And so he walks into the Y, give him a big hug, and now it's hilarious. But yeah, I think it's really a joy, man, to see you open, and to you're really yourself with us. There's no if you hated something here, which you don't say, but you would say, you really are yourself, and it really is a joy to see you determined to be that for your boys and to let them flourish and thrive. And it takes a special guy to be the first guy doing that. And you're not sending Jennifer, yeah, you can go if you want to go you're going with them. And you're, very much a part. And so it's a joyful thing for your boys because of you.
I will say this. This is the only church that I've actually ever willingly gone to, and I didn't have to. When we were at the Y, and I don't know, this always stuck in my head. You were in Tennessee. I think you had Eli with you.
Yeah. I was pregnant with Barrett.
Yeah. And I came to church.
Wow.
Not because it was like habit, not because I was just going through the motions. I enjoy being here. I'll never forget, you're like, that takes a lot.
Yeah. What does that do for you, or how does that make you feel?
Oh, I was like, he told me, he was like, oh, I went to church. I was expecting him to, I know. Yeah, exactly. That's what I did. I was like, oh, you did what? Because I was expecting him to say, oh, I got up and I worked on my truck and I washed the truck and I did, I mowed the lawn, because I didn't have the kid, I didn't have Eli. And I was like, and he was like, well, I went to church. And I was like, you did what? He was like, yeah, I did, I was up and I just went to church. And I was like, oh, great. What was the message? And he was like, oh, it was about blah, blah, blah. And then I talked to Jensen, and then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. It's not like with the other churches that we went to, it was almost like pulling teeth. Like he was doing it because I wanted to go, and it was like he felt like it was an obligation, But no, there's no he's here. He wants to come. And like that's just it makes me very grateful for this place.
Yeah, and then now just thinking through what a different world your boys are going to grow up in.
Yeah.
They'll never not know this.
Yeah.
Healthy, surrounded by love. Courtney, Julie, people that teach them, of course y'all. They'll never know a world without that.
And that was really important to us. Like when we were on the journey to have our babies. That was really, that was important to us. We kind of were like, we got to find a church home by the time we have our baby so that we have a place for them to grow up, because that was really important to us, so that our boys were surrounded by people that loved them and encouraged them. And another awesome Eli story. After the kids camp this summer,
Yeah.
y'all sang praise.
Yes.
Elevation Worship Praise. And anytime that song comes on the radio, he goes, my friend's song.
Oh,
My friend's song. And he makes me turn it up. And that is actually the only song he will let me sing in the car. Every other song, he's like, Mommy, stop singing. But that song, he'll let me sing because it's his friend's song. Yeah. So it's just like, every time, something amazing just is uncovered, and it's just constantly in awe of the rawness that you get to see from your kids, and just like their unbridled love of God and the people around them. It's just it's amazing. Yeah.
I just really want to make sure to say how proud of you I am, both of you. And one of my favorite things about Jesus is, so he asked for our surrender, but he gives us time. You know, and so I can only think of like, man, in 3 years the boys will be 7 and 5, and how much closer y'all will be, and how much, you know, like you may be initiating hugs around here at that point and growing. And so I just want to say how proud of you I am.
He's got high hopes.
And I love that about our church, that if I were to, I'm not going to, but if I were to press you and go, why do you feel so open here? It's not one person. Yes, it's Julie. Yes, it's this and that, but it's who we are, you know, to our core. And so anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I'm just so grateful that we came back when we found. I say that loosely, but that I remembered getting the flyer from y'all.
That you still put on our doors.
Okay, so that's how you first came?
Yeah,
We were actually
so
outside.
So
I think it was Courtney that walked up.
Y'all were walking around our neighborhood back before you started at the Y.
That's wild.
You were walking around the neighborhood, and we had just had Eli.
Yep.
And so we were at the church that we had started going to when we first got together, but he wasn't a super fan, and so we were trying to find other places, and then just one day I was like, wasn't there a place at the Y? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, yeah, like they had a thing. And so I can't tell you how much Google searching I had to do to find it. But I was like, yeah, it's at the Y. And then we came April of 2022 and went to the open door night at y'all's house.
Gosh, yes.
And
I remember y'all being there.
and then we found out, like, I remember we found out we were pregnant with Barrett, and we were gone for like 4, because it was not a good time. The beginning of Barrett's pregnancy wasn't good, and I was down for the count for a while. And I remember Courtney texted me. She was like, just wanted to check. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Hope you're okay. I was like, yeah, no, we're great. Just, I'm pregnant. You were like, what? Congratulations.
I felt very honored to get that shared with me. I was like,
sorry, you
wow,
haven't been
that's so
feeling
great.
well. But it was just fantastic that like somebody noticed that we weren't there.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, huge deal. It's been such a blessing for somebody who is, and I'm pointing to my husband, that is so hard-headed and so stubborn, and for him to, you know, even when he's having a not great day on a Sunday morning, he still comes.
Okay, well, I love you guys. Proud of you. Thank you for your time. This is going to bless people as they get to know you. Matt and Jennifer May.
Thanks, guys. Oh,
Love y'all.